Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Commute with Hopi Living in the City. Today we are headed into Central Phoenix, and I thought I'd just show you what the traffic's like today. It's the first full week of 2025 and traffic's picking back up, especially in the afternoons. The missus noted that it was quite busy yesterday on the way home from the office. But over here on the morning side, it's been pretty good still. It's pretty light. I'm about 3 to 4 minutes behind schedule. I had to go run a quick errand before I left. And so I have some good news about the project that I was working on in the garage. I was able to get the OBS boards on it after I secured it to the ceiling and leveled it out and everything. And then the missus and I tried to organize some of the totes as best we could so that we could park her car in there. So it's kind of we found some empty totes, we found some very nice keepsakes, and we found a bunch of school supplies, so we'll be donating those sometime soon. And then last night I was laying in bed thinking about how much weight that shelf can hold. So it's a 10-foot shelf, 10 foot long, 17 inches deep, and it's supported, it's bolted into the studs on the wall with those lag screws. I think they're 4-inch lag screws. And then after that, the end that's sitting on the wall is also sitting atop another 2x4 that's bolted into the studs. So I'm hoping that's taking most of the weight of the shelf. However, I did also secure it on each end with a metal strap, and that metal strap is secured by one bolt on top that is on a metal rack that's bolted itself into two separate trusses using maybe like 2.5-inch lag bolts, some wider ones. And then on the bottom I have the lag bolts, the 4-inch ones, drilled through the metal strip into the 2x4s. However, I was thinking on the top that I need to get some thicker bolts, because right now I'm using like a 1/4 inch, and that's just it. I need to go at least a 1/2 inch. I don't know how big the holes are in the metal strips, but I think that would be a little more comforting, because we tried to thin out the contents that were going up there, because we have some pretty heavy totes, but those we just stacked up on each other's and just left them on the ground. And then we did put some lighter ones up on top along with our Christmas tree, and so it's mostly like Christmas decorations and some keepsakes, our tree, so nothing too heavy. However, I need to get some of those thicker bolts, and then this weekend I'll probably put a couple anchors on the bottom or a 2x4 on the side, and then kind of jack it up a little so there's not as much tension on the existing straps, and then I'll swap out the bolts. I also was laying there thinking about maybe adding some additional bracing, like that's underneath the shelf itself, that's at an angle bolted to the wall, because my plan ultimately is to add a second shelf below that, another 10-footer, and I may make it a little more narrow, maybe a holding place for chemicals, like for your windshield wiper fluid, oil, brake fluid, different things of that nature, along with tools. I need to put some extra tools up there that don't fit in the toolboxes. So I'm thinking about that, but I also want to make sure that it's very secure, because the last thing you want is anything falling or giving way. I know some of those racks that you hang on your garage ceiling, those are all metal, and some can hold quite a few pounds, like 300 pounds. And I almost purchased one of those, but I also needed to redo. I knew I needed to redo that shelf in that area, because previously it was 2 feet deep, 8 feet long, and it was starting, the main 2x4 on the outside was, it had a weak point where you can see there was a knot there, and so that was, it started to sag. And so what the boys and I did was we put an additional 2x4 on that with deck screws, just to try to secure it up. But it didn't look good, and I think it was too bulky compared to the other side, and so that's why I wanted to clean that up. I wanted to make the shelves narrower, longer, and then add another 1 or 2 tiers to it, so we can get more storage area. But I think really we need to I need to go through all my papers and junk. I have a lot of stuff that I just saved over time, and if I can slowly thin those out, that's going to free up a lot of space. So yeah, that's what I was working on yesterday afternoon, and on Saturday afternoon. And I think for now I'm going to wait until the weekend to continue working on it, because it's a lot of work to unpack everything and get them off the shelves, and then I would need to kind of be fast, because I also need to make room for the car to park in there. So I guess what I could do is I could make, if I need to do something, I could start working on the second shelf and think of different ways to add more support, so it's more comforting. So let's see what's on the news today.
Food importer, which means we import more fruit than we export on an annual basis, which really shouldn't be something that happens. We have a very productive agricultural sector. We're just critically short of people to be able to tend the crops and harvest.
We know, as we're talking with Yuma farmer John Bolts, the president of the Arizona Farm Bureau, we know, John, that illegal undocumented farm laborers still work in great numbers here in Arizona and across the country. But a figure we saw suggests that they're only about half of the labor force, meaning a large number of legal workers also cross the border. So it really would make sense to see an expansion of the H-2A visa program if the border is going to be shut down in the way that President-elect Donald Trump wants to shut it down, right?
Yeah, we certainly recognize Arizona Farm Bureau and the members, and Farm Bureau on the national level. We certainly understand that we've had some extremely challenging times at the border. The border issues, illegal immigration, a lot of those things have been, just astronomical numbers, right? So we really don't want to mix the two issues so specifically.
News Times 549. And coming up, a new study is raising questions about the impact of fluoride on the human brain. We'll have that story straight ahead. Right now, though, one of our 10 traffic reports every hour during Arizona's Morning News with John Roller. He is live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, thank you very much. We've got a stalled vehicle eastbound I-10 right near 107th Avenue. Taking a look at it, it is off to the left against the median wall there. Just lean to the right, but a little bit of a curiosity factor. Starting to see the eastbound I-10 starting to load up as far west now as Jackrabbit. Then again, you'll reload as you approach the 101. Gets heavy there as the folks transition off the freeway eastbound I-10. That's going to stay with you over to about 47th Avenue. Right now, looking at about 25 minutes from the 101 into downtown Phoenix. Southbound I-17, light slowing from Bethany Home Road down to Thomas. Then again, light slowing south of the Stag through the Durango curve. Surface streets are quiet, and do want to remind folks over in Scottsdale this morning, the on-ramp, Raintree on-ramp at the southbound 101 Pima Freeway, that is closed this morning and will be for the next 60 days. John Roller, KTAR News.
We actually have a slight chance of...
All right, folks, you guys have a great day. Don't forget to say hello to everyone that follows the channel. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share some news with us. Let us know how your holidays went.